On June 23, 2016, the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union. This decision, known as Brexit, sent shockwaves across the globe. It marked a turning point in British history, ending over 4 decades of membership in the European project. Brexit was a complex issue with deep roots in British history and identity. The referendum exposed deep divisions within British society, highlighting the challenges of navigating a globalized world. The future implications of Brexit remain uncertain, with both opportunities and challenges ahead. To understand Brexit, we must first understand the United Kingdom itself. Composed of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, the UK has always been a union of distinct identities and historical experiences. Scotland in particular has a strong pro-European sentiment, with a majority voting to remain in the EU during the referendum. The Brexit vote has reignited calls for Scottish independence, further straining the already fragile bonds of the Union. Northern Ireland, with its close ties to the Republic of Ireland, also faces unique challenges in the wake of Brexit. The Good Friday Agreement, which brought an end to decades of conflict, relies heavily on the open border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. Maintaining this open border while also leaving the EU's single market and customs union has proven to be a complex and contentious issue. Euroscepticism, the opposition to the European Union and its policies, is not a new phenomenon in British politics. It has its roots in the UK's unique historical experience as an island nation, with a strong sense of national identity. The UK joined the European Economic Community, the precursor to the EU, in 1973, but its relationship with Europe has always been characterised by a degree of ambivalence. Margaret Thatcher, the Conservative Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990, famously clashed with her European counterparts over issues such as budget contributions and the expansion of EU powers. Her Eurosceptic rhetoric resonated with a segment of the British public, particularly those who felt that the UK was losing its sovereignty to Brussels. The rise of the UK Independence Party, a single-issue party dedicated to withdrawing from the EU in the 1990s and 2000s, was a testament to the growing appeal of Euroscepticism. In 2013, under pressure from within his own party and from UKIP's growing popularity, Prime Minister David Cameron promised to hold an in-out referendum on EU membership if his party won the next general election. The Conservatives won a majority in 2015, and Cameron, true to his word, scheduled the referendum for June 23, 2016. The referendum campaign was divisive and emotionally charged. The Leave campaign, spearheaded by figures such as Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage, tapped into public anxieties about immigration, sovereignty, and the perceived democratic deficit in the EU. They argued that leaving the EU would allow the UK to take back control of its borders, laws, and money. The result, a narrow victory for Leave by 52% to 48%, shocked many, both in the UK and around the world. It revealed a deeply divided nation, split along lines of age, education, and geography. Economics played a central role in the Brexit debate, with both sides making competing claims about the impact of leaving the EU. The Leave campaign argued that the UK would be economically better off outside the EU, free from its regulations and budget contributions. They promised that the UK would be able to strike its own trade deals with countries around the world, boosting the economy. The Remain campaign, on the other hand, warned that leaving the EU would damage the UK economy, leading to job losses and a decline in living standards. The economic reality of Brexit has been complex and contested. The UK economy has not collapsed as some feared, but it has grown more slowly than other advanced economies since the referendum. The value of the pound sterling plummeted immediately after the vote and has remained volatile since. The COVID-19 pandemic has further complicated the economic picture, making it difficult to isolate the specific impact of Brexit. Immigration was a highly contentious issue in the Brexit debate, with the Leave campaign successfully tapping into public anxieties about the impact of immigration on British society. The Leave campaign argued that leaving the EU would allow the UK to take back control of its borders and reduce immigration, which they claimed was putting pressure on public services, housing and wages. They played on fears of uncontrolled immigration, often using inflammatory language and imagery. The Remain campaign countered that immigration had brought economic and cultural benefits to the UK, pointing to the contributions of immigrants to the workforce and society. They argued that the UK's membership in the EU had brought about freedom of movement, allowing British citizens to live and work in other EU countries and vice versa. While there is evidence that immigration can put pressure on public services in the short term, studies have shown that immigrants overall make a net contribution to the UK economy. The Brexit saga has been a Shakespearean drama, replete with larger-than-life characters, shifting alliances, and dramatic plot twists. Understanding the roles played by key political figures is essential to grasping the complexities of this historical event. David Cameron, the Conservative Prime Minister who called the referendum, ultimately became a tragic figure. He gambled on the referendum to quell dissent within his party and silence the rising tide of UKIP, only to see his gamble backfire spectacularly. His resignation in the wake of the Leave victory left a void in British politics that has yet to be truly filled. Boris Johnson, the flamboyant former mayor of London, emerged as the face of the Leave campaign. His charisma and populist touch resonated with voters who felt ignored by the political establishment. However, his tenure as Prime Minister has been marked by controversy, from his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic to allegations of ethical breaches. Nigel Farage, the longtime leader of UKIP, played a pivotal role in mainstreaming Euroscepticism and forcing the issue of Europe onto the political agenda. His influence on British politics, while controversial, is undeniable. As the dust settles on the initial shock of Brexit, the UK finds itself at a crossroads, facing a future fraught with both uncertainties and opportunities. The full implications of this historic decision are still unfolding, with potential consequences for everything from trade and immigration to national identity and the UK's place in the world. Economically, the UK faces the challenge of forging new trade relationships while navigating the complexities of its departure from the EU's single market and customs union. Politically, Brexit has exacerbated existing divisions within British society, particularly between those who voted Leave and those who voted Remain. The future of the United Kingdom itself may be at stake, with Scotland and Northern Ireland grappling with their own unique challenges in the wake of Brexit. On the international stage, the UK must redefine its role in a world where the global balance of power is shifting. The path ahead for the UK is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Brexit will continue to shape the country's destiny for generations to come.